We're going to feature two names that have already been on the channel recently, but what made it exciting to me is these guys are sitting in 34th and 35th respectively, drawn on the same elo, the exact same elo rating, 1798. Welcome back to the 1v1s, guys. Another caster game, and this time it's going to be between David Kim and Big Bang Loser, once again on King of Hill, but on a very dicey looking King of the Hill. This looks like it could be a single-player map where someone's defending from the south and invading from the north, doesn't it? It's quite the funky generation we've got this time around. So maybe we'll get something a little bit different. It is quite cast on the wood generation. I will say straight out of the gate, how did David lock... Like, look at this. He lucked out as the Mongol player here. This is absurd. This is the second game in a row we've just had where a Mongol player up against a Chinese player has had disgustingly potent wood lines. Look at it. It's so easy. He has two here, then he extends in. The one downside is his gold veins are even worse than the last game. This is horrendous. Look at this. And I think that's the detail Big Bang Loser's got better. Not only that, look at the stone placement. Oh my god. Oh. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting you know those vibe feelings. You know when you like something's just right. You know when you just like say it's a golf player, they hit the ball just right, or say you you make a cake and it tastes just right. That's exactly what this generation is right now. Big Bang's getting that China feeling. It's like, oh, efficiency. Because this is a perfect place for one mining camp to cover both the stone outcropping and the gold. That's 50 wood saved early on. Will allow you to maybe get a quicker time on the TC, and we know how those things ripple from there, right? You get even half a minute quicker TC timing. It's just boosting your economy so much more moving forward. So opening, we are going to see David going into the Spearman. In this matchup, I think the win condition really is very early for David as the Mongols. I think you can try and dial back onto a castle age layer, but you need to find initial pressure. And that's why I like this barracks drop. This is all about finding a way to maybe sneak in a few outposts and actually keep your opponent uncomfortable. Keep him loyal, right? Understanding that the Chinese player is probably going to be greedy. Most Chinese players are greedy. They don't end up building a military building outright, right? Most of the time, maybe a stable, but outside that, which, by the way, a stable will be counted by the spears, it's more a reactionary play. So if you are Big Bang and you're forced to very early drop an archery range, you're probably not happy with that. So we'll see if he is able to achieve that condition. He's already wrapping around. It looks like he's been scouted out, though, so nicely done by Big Bang to get the early tip-off of what's coming his way. And I do expect him to actually prep an archery range as soon as he gets the tech up, so we'll see him rush towards that. Gold-wise, he's not mining. He's just looking for taxes. This can be a little bit dangerous, and there we go. He's going to have to build the racks. Not ideal. It means you're just building spearmen against spearmen. And your opponent has double production, but you need to deal with this right now. You can see what's happening, right? He saw that there's a villager coming as well, which means there is going to be an outpost crawl, and you don't want to get blocked in. This is an incredibly oppressive and cheesy strategy. For those that aren't aware, the way it works is early on, you either build scouts or you build into spearmen, and then you rush them out with one or two villagers, sometimes two. I kind of like two, actually, in a lot of ways. And then you basically move into place outposts, right? And with those outposts, you block your opponent from reaching the wood line, the food line, the gold line, and all of a sudden, they're not online, right? They just sign off. They just rage quit the game. But nice move out with the spears. Already able to repel him away. And he only brought one villager, so it's going to be very hard. Because, well, usually you have that 2 marker. You've got kind of that barrier for error, right? You can lose one. It feels good. You'll still get the outpost up. And also you build the outpost quicker that way. But not doing so, I think it's a big mistake out of David. Misses some early pressure opportunity. And it means that Big Bang can repulse him away. And he's even going to get the villager out. There you go. And you're on the home field, so you can sacrifice one or two of these spearmen and be fine with it. In fact, he might even get the Khan. Oh, I can't get the final stab out. So back away for the moment. Keep in mind that you can actually outproduce the Mongol player here. Usually the Mongol player has the advantage, courtesy of the fact that the racks can double produce with the Uvu. But you could oversee this racks at any point and push out a lot of spearmen. The only limitation at the moment, the reason he doesn't do it, is food. And this villager, he might just have to hard commit into it, lose the spearmen, but get rid of the villi. You can't allow this to be built. It's not a good feeling. Look at the situation, right? You only have this wood line. The next one is so far away. This could actually cripple your game heavily. He needs to go for it. Scouts wrapping. It's only 10 health. This will be good enough. And that's why David backs away. Nice guard there coming out. But it means he sacrifices the front line. And he's going to have to run away. And it's definitely the villager. He refunds the outpost. He backs away as best he can. And that should be one more stab to put an end to the shenanigans. He's going to chase down with the scout. He moves the spearman across. And with this number advantage now, David might just back off and quit the plan. There's no point anymore. And he's got the maneuver arrow if he wants to move away at the end, but it's just too late. So he's going to end up losing the lads. Scout's going to chase him down and keep him loyal. All that time, was he able to do anything? He really started switching over to pastures very early to do so. Also, interesting that he's doing this not next to the Uvu. I think that is a mistake out of David. Come on, your Uvu is literally right there. So build them and move them across maybe, but get them in the Uvu range. For those that are unaware, when you put a pasture in the Uvu range, as you can see, you produce the sheep faster, right? So it means you actually need less pastures to sustain yourself through the early mid game, which is very important when you consider that these pastures are incredibly pricey, 150 wood each. And you don't have an alternative, right? You can go pro scouts and that's literally it. But you don't have that alternative because you opened with a barracks, right? So if you go for barracks stable, it's very awkward as Mongols. I think you have two choices primarily. You're looking at like stable racks or racks archery range. Very occasionally you will go stable archery range, but it's never racks stable. Someone's confused right now. They're pointing left, right, up, down as I just tried to like explain that without any sort of tooltip or clip art on the screen. Basically, if you build racks first, do not build into a stable after. Also, the cool thing about this layout is so far he's been saving money, right? You only have to build that one gur. But like I said, there won't be any pro scouts coming out. He's moving out with the outpost. I like this maneuver early on. Remember, if you build the deer stone, you get early access to the yam tech. The yam tech, for those that are unaware, increases your movement speed by 15% on your units, as you can see there, the cavalry and traders. And the whole point is that you want to set up this network, this crawl, so that later on, when you're harassing into your opponent, you have movement speed. Movement speed is such a big deal. You're either playing ranged or you're playing movement speed. If you can't play one of those two conditions, you're losing the game. It's the entire game summed up, in my opinion. Like, ranged, obviously, movement speed not as important as long as you've got superior range, things like Lombos, for example. Mongols, their number one thing is 100% this yam. There is not a single thing in the game that I point to that is a bigger power spike for them than that. And it's why a lot of these Mongol games aim to end by Castle Age, right? It's all about hitting that timer. Anything past that feels really crappy. There you go. Yam speed, able to move. Zoom, zoom. So yeah, the reason I say castle, by the way, is because sometimes we do see people going for the deer stone. I've seen a lot of people making comments on the YouTube side recently about like, oh, I mean, you know, deer stone's not really that great because like you can just research it later. Yeah, that is true. I get where you're coming from, but you have to consider multiple things. You have to tech up to research it, and then also it has a cost associated with researching it, right? I think it's like maybe, is it 150, 250 gold? Something in that margin. So it hits your economy a little. And more importantly, it's the fact that by going deer stone this early, you give yourself options. Especially with this opening, which is so pumped right now, which is the outpost rush. If that ever gets in place and they can't get rid of it straight away, instantly in feudal age, you're getting the value of movement speed aggressively. And that's the big difference maker. If you compare the way that Mongol players are playing right now to, say, a month ago, they are utilizing these outposts 10 times more to actually get the advantage. Even back then, when we were in the middle of Age of Springald, it was baffling to me how few players were utilizing the outpost spam to get the movement speed for their very slow and sluggish armies, right? Because it gives you such a big edge. And the cool thing about yam speed as well, and it's something that was making the Mongols a little bit better than the Abbasids, is while both those civs could build out in the field, and yes, Abbasids had it free, Mongols had to research it, but the difference was that once they had it researched, right, the fact is that in either case, you don't really want to have to build workshops that cost 300 wood. Well, if you wanted to have movement speed on your siege weapons as Abbasids, you had to. However, if you were playing Mongols, you did not, because you could just get your hands on the yam movement speed. And although it wasn't as good as Greased Axles, it made a big enough difference that it allowed you to outmaneuver your opponents immediately at the start of Castle Age via your siege weapons. Shiganu now coming out for Big Bang losers, so looks like he is going to threaten quite well up against David. David's still moving forward with the spearman for the moment, but he needs to chill. He needs to go for Castle Age. This is the power of China, by the way. If you're worried about Mongol rushes, this is why China's really good. Even if you try to press them early, as long as you do what Big Bang done, where you initially repel that outpost spam, you're really comfortable in the mid-game. Mainly because you start with Zhugnu, and then you can transition into Palace Guard. And in both cases, like, you feel very good. Because remember, I said the cool thing about the Mongols is how they maintain this movement speed advantage. But remember that the man-at-arms are very slow, and the Palace Guard will match your speed when you're yammed up by default, right? Because Palace Guard move quicker than man-at-arms. So what that creates is this very interesting dynamic where one of your most optimal choices that you usually go for as the Mongols is already kind of nerfed and counted out by the inherent move by the Chinese on the infantry front, right? Which is, aka the Palace Guard. And speaking of that, Castle Age, it is on its way now, so we might even get a chance to see it. The way you counter that, by the way, is David's play should be to go into the crossbowman, but keep in mind that will leave you vulnerable once again to the Zhugnu, right? This is what I mean about the dynamics of play here. This is why I genuinely think China is a very good civ up against the Mongols. And you can see he's just chasing him back now, so. The choice you do have, by the way, is Lancers, and yeah, there we go. Stable is being dropped. It's the only choice you have. And that means that you're then pinning yourself into a corner strategically, and also your opponent already has a Rax out producing spears. So right now, Big Bang is countering everything that David intends to throw at him. It's not a good situation for David to be in. He's going to need a pivot. The pivot should be siege weapons. But remember that once China boosts up into that Castle Age, they're going to have siege weapons of their own, but their siege weapons are going to be better. So it's going to be very important that you take an initial advantage and are able to begin the creeping siege, right? Where you crawl across the map, building new siege weapons quicker than your opponent. Because China is one of those few civs that can match it, right? They don't pay 300 wood as it is their tech up building, and they can increase the build speed to 3 times its normal rate. Of course, then the one condition that matters is riding across the map. So Spearman moving out, trying to trade the best they can. Zhugnu, Big Bang made a mistake here. He's backstepping way too much. He's missing out burst opportunities. He'll finally start to actually regroup a little, but he should have killed a lot more Spearmen by now. But this is partially the power of the Yam, right? It's allowing you to stick on top of your target so easily. And it means that you get good trades if you're David here. David should not have killed off this many Zhugnu. Like, he should have maybe got 4, 5 less of them than what he did. But he will eventually lose the army, so he's going to have to back up for the moment. Remember, he just revealed his Castle Age timing, right? Which means he's very vulnerable. You have to understand that Big Bang, with this many troops close by, is going to look to pressure because now he sees his opponent does not have surplus resources to produce new units yet. He will soon, though. Lancer's coming out. Problem is, Spearmen are already on the front, right? And I love the way he keeps layering them in. He's not, like, preventing production on it. He's actually continuously producing them. Has halted now, but on both sides because he wants to go for the tech up in the castle. And that's why for the moment, Big Bang, he will back up. This Khan is a little bit frustrating. 7 range, not very easy to actually counter. Like we said, Zhugnu, they just move so damn slow. This can be fixed once you get up into the Yuan dynasty. That's just a long way off, though. Like, you're talking 2 Castle Ages, right? In a 1v1 at this stage in the game, like, give it another 8, 9 minutes, maybe we can consider it, but we're not going to consider it anytime soon. And it is going to be astronomical clocked out. It almost always is. There's not really much value in the other one in comparison. It's nice as a nice little kind of eyeballer, nice scouting info later. For those unaware, the Imperial Palace, what it does, the other tech-free landmark, it allows you to see the location of all enemy villages. It's an activatable ability with a cooldown. It's nice, but it's not game-changing anywhere near to the extent that astronomical clock tower is. A building that allows you to not only save 300 wood on building a workshop, but then also on top of that, the units that come out of this have 50% more health. So David, not really getting the full advantage he was looking for. He at least backed off his opponent. The important detail of this being that he gets access to that step redoubt line with the gold vein. And I love the way that he saved the back one here. This is really smart by David. He understands that there's going to be a harassment coming his way. There's going to be some pressure at some point. So he'd rather get rid of the more kind of greedy, dangerous gold veins first and always have a backup vein if everything really hits the fan. Meanwhile, this Khan is actually sniping quite a few of these units. Remember, it's 12 damage per shot. And you have no choice but to run away here. If you had 1 or 2 horsemen, it would be different. But you already revealed your hand, right? You went archery range at Rax. You don't often see players at this stage in the game with 3 different types of military buildings. It feels very uncomfortable to do because you're probably not going to be able to produce out of all 3. And instead, you kind of just wasted 150 wood on one or the other. We are seeing the switch in the crossbow. So already anticipating what his opponent's going to do. David should be able to see this. At a quick glance, he might at first think it's Zhugnu in there, but it won't take him long to realize that it's crossbows, and he might have to pivot in what he does. Mangonel has already been built. He is going to be the man-at-arms. Not the biggest fan of this. We said this is what he's going to play into, and he's going to be counted already. If I am Big Bang, I just start producing some Palace Guard now, right? You need to get the info first, though. And I got to say, like, scouting-wise, he's been AFK on it for a while. His scout has been sitting down in the south, not doing much. Oh, villagers in a little bit of trouble. Wants access to the gold. Trying to be a greedy boy. He's looking for the keep drop, by the way. Yep, there it is. On the sacred site. Really well played. This is going to secure so much economy. And also the win condition, right, with the sacred site. I think, has he built into a temple yet? I would 100% advise a temple. It's 200 wood. You're going to get it back very quickly. There's no way this gets decapped in response in the next 2 minutes after you drop a keep like this. There we go. Should force him away. Won't quite kill off the Khan. 14 health. Really important that he does not lose the Khan right now. At this stage in the game, it's his tempo setter in the mid wave. Like, right now, without the Khan there, these archers would have pushed forward past the keep. So if they snipe that, very different game for the next 2 minutes. Big Bang would have been towards your base. Instead, David ramping up Mangonel production now. Keep in mind the range on this, right? The Mangonel has 9 tower range, so it can be just outside the keep. And you can siege down. We said the Mangonels are surprisingly effective at getting through buildings. After the buffs, it was kind of a buff across the board, it felt like. Like, there's just better splash, and you're noticing in the numbers, right? We've seen people with, like, 4 Mangonels very quickly rinse through someone's military line and just get into their military buildings and do it just as quickly. And there we go. It's going to be the monastery drop. Really smart play. I like this. Big Bang's looking to force pressure, right? He doesn't quite know what his opponent's doing because he's been playing blind. And instead now he's going to force his opponent to come out and show what he's doing. And it might give him time to respond. Because remember, China is one of those civs that can respond quickly, courtesy of exactly this, the supervision. If you supervise, you're able to produce these units incredibly fast and pivot against whatever your opponent is doing. Once again, just being frustrating. Never really able to reach him. You need to bait him in a weird way. It's just unlikely to happen. It means you're going to lose a few villagers here. This is one of the frustrations of playing against the Mongols. That's why a lot of people actually hate this civ. That's why it's still considered one of the strongest. Especially in 1v1s at the highest level. Every small detail makes the difference, right? If you're able to snipe out 1 or 2 free villages, right, and give yourself a slight lead, it can really change the flow of a game. And you need to against China, because remember, China, he did go for the Song Dynasty, right? So he has been producing more villages. Currently, it's 59 compared to 54. All right, I wasn't expecting to see that many Springles already. David is ramping up very quickly. Gonna have to make that move soon, right? Sacred Site's about to be capped. That will trigger a 10-minute win condition. Oh, wait, guys, let's not forget. We have our fancy win condition tracker. This is technology made by NASA, actually. There you go. Wow. It almost feels like someone with crayons and a passing mark from high school made this channel, doesn't it? Okay, that's not true. I'm not cool enough to have crayons. Yeah, so 17:20 is the start time. Plenty of time to work with, plenty of time to make a move. But like we said, everything he's doing is countered, right? It's just crossbows. Up to 11 now. You've got a few lancers, man-at-arms, and that's literally it. You've got nothing else. And really, I would love to see him just support with archers. Your opponent hasn't shown any sort of armored unit right now. You already could easily just drop an archery range at this stage. Like I said, it's uncomfortable to have 3 different types of units, but at this stage, I think you need it. You have to understand that although in some ways you feel like you're ahead because you repelled the pressure, you know, you've got to castle Ace first, you're not in this game for David Kim. You're actually behind Big Bang. And wow, Big Bang moving in with his own lancers here onto the villager line. He found the step readout. This is so smart from him. And so much damage being done right now. 2 strikes and you are out, my friend. No textiles. Always the case, and it always ends the same, folks. When you are playing with pocket economies like this, get textiles. If you're going to lose 1, even just 2 villages in the next coming minutes, it's worthwhile. And it's exactly why, when we look across at Big Bang, he got it. He actually has the extra 25 health. It means the Khan cannot snipe out as many villages, and you're not likely to die to these lancers instantly. A mistake being made in this regard by David. And I think this shaman is about to be Shamalama ding-donged off the face of the map. I mean, Big Bang could just kill him right now. Just kill him. Just kill him. It's fine. Just kill him in a sec. Nice religion you've got, but religion needs to meet sword. Or rather the peasantry do. God, it's such a dark timeline. Oh, he couldn't get the final strike out. He did just I think that was a mistake, though. You should have just chased the Shaman. Snipe him out. Don't let him bank this. Or at least make him pay again to bank it. He has 4 relics right now. You're giving him a lot more gold than he should have. I guess from Big Bang's perspective, he doesn't really care as much because he has so much resource influence over the center of the map, right? So he feels good. But, oh, there's Maganel. Imperial Official is, for some reason, out for a stroll. No reason to be here. And he'll be taught the hard way in a second. Healing coming out on injured troops in the center. You need a solution soon. Spirals have started to be built, but there's just so many already. I almost feel like Nest of Bees would be better here. There's so many clustered together. I have to imagine how much damage Nest of Bees would actually do. So Big Bang backs up a bit more. Has a few more Lancers. Villagers moving on to the wood line. This is a dangerous point, right? He just ran out of wood on the main line. So he's very vulnerable right now. He had to switch over from this one. He could be exploited right now. David doesn't know that his opponent doesn't have another wood line right now that he's working on. If he did, he'd be pushing even harder. Like, I'm talking taking out the keep level pushing, because now there's 2 of them. Big Bang, just trying to prevent any decap on the sacred site. Buys himself a lot of time with this as well. And remember, if the cool thing about this interaction, by the way, we said the Mangonels have 1 tile extra range, but if you repair on the northern side, the Mangonels, if they attack you directly, they'll be baited in range of the keep, and that means they'll be sniped out. So you have to be very careful the way you engage as David. And that's why he's starting to flank towards the base. You can see now a crawl of keeps to try and protect. Big Bang almost has enough for a 4th keep. He needs to get more stone. He ran out. Is he going to risk it for the central one? That's the question. It'll be a little bit dicey. Looks like it's not going to be the case for the moment, though. Even more Mangonels coming out from David. Harassment in with the Lancers again. It's just stunning his economy a little. And he's starting to suffer somewhat. In a couple of minutes, he's still doubling up Big Bang, but that's because he took a break from the gold line again. He's being forced off at courtesy of the Mangonels. Sprills. Big mistake here by David. He's doing what he's talked about. He's the taboo, the curse, right? He hasn't actually put down the outpost. I don't understand like what it is with Mongol players today. But they just keep failing to drop outposts, and it's costing them so much ground and so much advantage in this game. You could have chased them down there. Those Sprills would have died. It's 1.12 compared to the 0.94. You have the Yam. After that initial shot and looking to turn around, you probably get just in range to snipe out these Sprills 1 by 1, even with their bonus health. Instead, you've got this Sprill number advantage, but it does nothing for you. And even with this push-in, I don't know if it's going to be good enough, right? Like, you need to find more than this. This is such a pitiful find for what you've invested in the backside here. And remember that the Sacred Site victory condition is still ticking. Got a lot of crap to get through as well. Sprills moving out. For their shots, can't quite find it just yet. David does have vision of those Sprills backing up, but he can never reach them. And remember that if he gets flanked here, he's done. But there's no attempt to flank yet. Mainly because there's no melee units, right? You want someone that can actually burn these down quickly. If he had them, they'd be on the high ground here, and you wouldn't be able to see it as David until it's too late. Sprills, not going to move away. They keep coming out the wrong side. That is so cursed. He's waypointed over here. I don't know if he'd done that before, though. I love the way he keeps sneaking the Imperial Official, though. They're not able to stop him from doing this, so he's getting as many Sprills as possible to be ready to repel his opponent here. Wait, what? What? Why is it waypoint over here? Oh, my... He moved it again. The waypoint was behind, right? It would have came out on the right side. Instead, it comes out in front of... This is just wasted economy. Stop it, please. Oh, I'm losing hair. Just thinking about it. Sprills, one's going to be sniped out for 1 so far. Big Bang's buying a lot of time with this, though. And he has enough landmarks. So I don't think David can get through them quick enough. Unless he hard commits, and that could force a mistake. So Big Bang keeps backing up those Sprills so far away. The only way that I'm okay with the way Big Bang is playing this is if he decides to drop a landmark in the center here. He's going to have to do it soon at this rate. He's got 3 landmarks left. They are all clustered quite close together. So TC under attack. More Mangonels being built. My god, David, this strategy. Like I said, this isn't even optimal. This could be 10 times better than what it currently is. And Big Bang, I'm wondering if, like, is he just trying to gather for it? No, because his food sucks. He's not getting more food. So you need to defend. You can't ignore this. There's not enough time, right? He's still got 3 minutes to go. And this TC is more tanky than your remaining 2 landmarks. This is going to be tight. And still on the stone. Is he looking for a keep drop? You've got the resources. If so, you need to make a move really soon. It feels like a lot of things are AFK here right now. Okay, here we go. Marketplace. So he's going to trade the stone to get the food and gold required for a tech up. I think that's the plan. He has to do it right now, though. They built Baron Rams. They're speeding up. This is tight if this works, but you need to do it right now. And there it is. Big Bang. He's underway. 28 people working to build this up. And it's right in the north, in the corner. Why are you building it so far away? Oh, my God. This is going to be tight. I think it's good, though. The Mangonels, they keep hesitating. He's done it. He's actually going to do it. And David is going to be so confused by this. And you're not going to find it up here either. Oh, my God. What a way to win. Let's not jump the gun, though. It's still 2 minutes to go. But it is looking good right now. He can't get in. There's just so many keeps here. 4 keeps now. And this moment, Dave's like, haha, screw you, China. No cheese into your wins here. Wait, what? Wait, why is he not dead? What? Son of a power China, folks. People keep seeing us as different things. The supervision, the taxing, the build speed. How about the fact you can build double the landmarks any other player can? Suckers. And this keep that was placed here so long ago is already getting his values that slows things down. Second trebuchet now being built. This is how desperate David is. He needs to move fast, though. He doesn't have much time left. There's so many defenses in place right now for Big Bang. This is such an insane way to be winning on King of the Hill. Sacrificing your entire base for the sacred site victory. Only China would do this. And well, Big Bang Winner might be his name after this one, because no matter what happens at the end of his games, it always has this big bang to it, the magnifique. And we're getting that either way. And that final keep should just be the final coup de grace coming out from Big Bang Loser. There's no easy way David's going to get through this many keeps in time. And this is fantastic. It's disgusting. You're a terrible human being, Big Bang. But damn, do I respect it. Man-at-arms surging in. They need to try and decap, but there's just enough crossbowmen here that it should not be feasible. He's keeping the shamans on top of it. And it looks like he's done it. David, there's no way he gets in. He's ran out of man-at-arms. He's ran out of hopes in this. What an insane way to win this coming out from the Chinese player. Big Bang Loser will take the win.